All right, hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Commerce Central. We have a very special guest with us today. He's not a guest at all, but will be soon as your regular time in the office is coming to a close. Beth, today is Wednesday, February 16th, and you have less than a week until your formal retirement. How do you feel?
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited. Looking forward to the next 30 years.
Absolutely. You've seen a lot of change here at the Chamber. In fact, that entire time span, you weren't always with the Chamber. Tell us about your humble beginnings.
Well, the humble beginnings began in 1983 when I moved here from Southern Wayne County, looking for work.
Yep.
But I landed at the 21st Century Council in 1992.
Yep.
And
a year.
Very dear friend, Mr. Cromer Smotherman, took me under his wing and taught me everything he knew, and I feel blessed to have been able to work with him.
So at the 21st Century Council, that was kind of basically the just the economic development arm, really.
It was the economic development organization for Lawrence County, and then the Chamber of Commerce was, I guess you could say, the community development arm of the Chamber.
Makes sense.
I mean, of the county.
Of the county, gotcha. But it merged in
2002.
Okay.
We put the offices together, and it was a good thing.
Yeah.
It really has been good for the community, I think.
One of the things that, I knew you for growing up, because it's funny. I guess your office with the 21st Century Council was at Columbia State Community College, which was at the time on Springer Road. And my mom working there, I just remember you being back holed up in the library or whatever. And,
Right.
and so I knew you as the workforce lady. And I think that, and I could be wrong, but is that really where your passion has lied throughout this entire process?
It is. I love workforce development. I love working with education partners. I love working with our existing industry.
Yeah.
And most of my career in economic and community development has been in that area.
Yeah, well, it's really, I've noticed you're very people-centric, and I think that's a good thing. I think you brought that to the organization, and I say that because when you think about dual enrollment, when you think about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, when you think about Leadership Lawrence or Gaddis Leadership, you're the face of that.
Oh.
So how does
that feel?
Yeah, that's
I might need to check my makeup.
Well, we have some big shoes to fill here at the Chamber with your leaving. But let's talk about some fun memories and some things that maybe we can take as an organization or anyone watching this can take forward. Give us some of your best memories or maybe best moments of your career here at the Chamber, other than having the best boss ever.
Well, and we'll talk about that later. And you might think the best memory is when we were ice skating on a bridge in Mount Pleasant. And if Jesus Take the Wheel was to come on the radio, I would have just died right there. And of course, you were saying, Grandpa Lanny, take the wheel. That's a whole nother story.
It is.
But really, I think the most fun was when we were speeding on Highway 64 to keep up with the governor's motorcade. That, other than on the track in Charlotte, that was the fastest I've ever gone.
All right, so for context for everybody, and Beth, jump in here. I'm going to tell the story. We were at a ribbon cutting for UT Southern in Pulaski, and of course the governor was there and the speaker was there, and people from all over the region were there, and we just happened to land at the governor at our July Chamber Coffee. He was coming down to celebrate Tennessee 225, which is 225th anniversary of Tennessee statehood, and we just knew as soon as the ribbon was going to be cut, we had to get back to the state park.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so Beth and I just jetted as fast as we could.
We thought we were going fast.
And we were, and I hope I'm not
incriminating. held accountable.
Yeah, exactly. But we got to, I guess, what was it, about the county line, and we see this motorcade of black vehicles coming up on us faster than I don't even know what. And so what did we do?
We hung on.
And we just got in there, and we followed the governor there, and that, I'll be honest, that's probably one of my most favorite memories.
It was fun. I loved it. It was fun.
I don't know that we can top that. Of course, we did find your earring from.
We did.
Okay.
How I lost an earring during all that, I don't know.
Well, we were going fast, so I get it.
Hold on to your earring.
Right.
But no, we have had a lot of good times driving. We've been very blessed that we haven't ever had a real car accident.
Oh, yes. Very blessed.
But part of community development is just being at the table and bringing the right people to the table. So talk about some of the initiatives that maybe you've led or brought people to the table to talk about.
Well, Ron, the state of Tennessee has always, during my 30 years, has looked to Lawrence County as being a leader. And we were kind of on the cutting edge of bringing dual enrollment to the state,
schools,
to the high schools. That was fun. And Columbia State. We started that with Columbia State as well. And, Mr. Smotherman, back in the mid-90s, he was saying to people, we're going to have a workforce shortage. It's coming. We're going to have a workforce shortage. It's here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he realized how many years it was going to be, but he said, we've got to start working on this now.
Yeah.
And that's really the first conversations we had about when we talked with our education partners about dual enrollment.
Yeah.
Feeling that need.
Yeah. Well, if I've learned anything about economic development, you can have a great site, you can have the utility capacities, and those things are you have to have those. Those are precursors. But really, education does drive economic development long term.
It absolutely does. And the fun thing about community development is, and all community development is preparing a community for economic development.
Gotcha.
Preparing it, keeping it prepared, you have to continually work on that.
Yeah.
And it's fun to work on those kinds of projects. I'm project driven. I was taught to work on projects, get it done, find the right people, bring them to the table, get it done and move on to another project. So I'm kind of that way. So a week from yesterday, I'll be starting another project.
Really?
It's called retirement.
But here's the thing. I understand that you're probably still going to be involved in a lot of things. I know one thing you've been very passionate about recently, actually two things. The first being FOLCA, which is Friends of Lawrence County Animals. Talk to us about what y'all are working on there.
FOCA is a fundraising organization, and our first project was to help build a new Lawrenceburg animal shelter.
Yeah.
And so that building is up, the shell, and we're beginning to work on the inside of that. So hopefully this summer we'll be having, the chamber will be having a ribbon cutting for the opening of that new shelter.
I can't wait. I remember it was so cold when we broke ground that day.
Oh, it was cold.
So hopefully y'all can get it done in a warm month.
In a warmer time.
But you're also working on, again, being people-centric, not just pet-centric too, I guess. But you tackle a lot of hard issues, and one of the ones that we're dealing with right now is homelessness.
Yes.
And there's a lot of misconception out there right now about how we as a community are or shouldn't be tackling the problem. And I know one of those bad talking points right now, I think, out there about the chamber is we want to build a homeless shelter, and that's
not true.
Right. However, there are so many resources in our community, and having a common place to access those resources, to identify those barriers to whether it's a job or mental health services or substance abuse disorder services.
Yes, and that's what we're working toward.
Yeah.
But now we do have a committee that is working on this, and no one on the committee wants a homeless shelter. We want to try to help people up and out of their situation. Yeah. And of course, one thing that is a barrier is housing. And I know that you know that, and the chamber has also been involved in some conversations about housing, our lack of housing. Yeah. And so we have found that if we had someone today that says, yes, I want a job, I want a home, we don't have anywhere for them to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's all under the workforce development. It's not just education, but it really is holistic. Yes. And that's what is so much fun. Like, economic development is so technical. It's data, again, sites, real estate, buildings, incentives. All those are very technical and surefire things. But when I think about the fluffy part, which is, and I know you hate it when I say fluffy, but that's the community development piece. But that's where the business falls in love with the community, is they see how do we treat our own, or hand up, or treat our pets even.
Absolutely. And community development just goes unspoken.
Yeah.
It's things that just happen. We just work on them, you know, and it's really, it's not the pretty new company that's coming into town, but that new company is looking at our community and what we have here to offer them.
Well, you've definitely been the glue as far as getting people to the table. And I think about, you know, all the meetings we've had around parks and workforce and, oh Lord, leadership up here at the chamber, and I've learned a lot, and I'm proud to call you a mentor.
Thank you, Ryan.
And
dude,
I know I got this. We're good.
Dude.
We're good. But before we end, and Beth, we're going to give you the final word, which of course is just a word, and we're going to define it somewhere on the bottom of the screen. I just want to remind everyone that's watching that on Thursday, the 24th, so a week from tomorrow, we will be having a reception celebrating Beth at the Reserve. So please come by.
Please come by. I'd love for you to.
I wish we could send an invitation to every single person that you've ever worked with, but we would run out of paper.
That's exactly
And the
right.
Reserve isn't large enough.
Yeah.
I have met a lot of people. I've
Yeah.
made a lot of friends, a lot of contacts, and my last word is not relationships, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's so important to build those relationships. And you know that. You already have those relationships, you know, with our state and our local government and federal, all the way up to the top.
Oh, it's fine.
So,
it's fine. So what is your final word?
Well, my final word is passion.
It's a good word.
I feel like you have to be passionate about what you're doing in order to do a good job. And if you're not passionate, it is just a job.
Yeah.
And I can say that my 30 years haven't been just a job. I've enjoyed coming to work and looking forward to the next project.
Yep.
Well, hey, are you going to miss us, though?
Yeah, that's the real question.
I am going to miss you so much, Ben.
Just
Yes.
Ben. Just Ben.
Just Ben. I'm going to miss you so
Oh,
much.
my gosh.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yes.
great. All right, Beth, thank you. Ben, thank you. Like normal. Everybody, thanks for joining us this week on Commerce Central. Be on the lookout next week for the next episode.